Hi Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your Mercury Retrograde reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps out this channel and it really helps me out, so thank you so much for that. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will all be listed and linked in the description box below. Now before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds. Letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Let's let the bowl sing as we see what the tarot has to say. How will Sagittarius be affected by Mercury retrograde? How will Sagittarius be affected by Mercury retrograde? How will Sagittarius be affected by Mercury retrograde? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. How will Sagittarius be affected by Mercury retrograde? How will Sagittarius be affected by Mercury retrograde? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. So this is the energy that roots you at the bottom. This is the energy that crowns you at the top. So at a root, we have the Death card, which is Scorpio energy, time frame October 23rd to November 22nd. If you're born on the cusp with Scorpio, this is going to affect you more than it isn't. This time is going to be much more intense, because we also have the Page of Wands, which represents us Sagittarius. In the minor arcana, we're represented by the Wands. In the major arcana, we're represented by Temperance. So here, if you're born on the cusp with Scorpio, it hits you hard and it shows you a myriad of new ways forward. And as I was shuffling the cards, I was getting a bit tongue-tied. So Mercury retrograde, of course, affects our communication. It affects, how we read the fine print, the deals that we make and the way that we interact with one another. So this is going to be a time where we get tongue-tied. I can just feel that coming very strongly during Mercury retrograde. And then we have the Three of Cups and the Five of Pentacles that crown us here. And it's very interesting because the Three of Cups for me are the people who should be celebrating us, who should have been there for us, and yet they couldn't be. And yet it's still remembering and it's still honoring the people who are there for us. And these can be our angels and our spirit guides, and this can be the people in our life that have always been tried and true, and that we might kind of overlook because they're always there, and we kind of take those people for granted at times. The Five of Pentacles is the poverty mentality coming forward, and it's coming forward rather strongly as we look at ourselves as students, as we start to see different avenues open up. There's a sense of almost this coping mechanism, this trauma that comes forward that says, I can't do this. I don't get to do this. This doesn't get to be me. And so we have to look at that very openly and very honestly during Mercury retrograde, because I'm just seeing that this is a time where when we tell ourselves lies and we believe them. We crown ourselves with these lies and we say, this is the world I'm limited to. This is all that I can achieve. And so we have to be mindful of that. And it comes from a past trauma, a past hurt, a lover who, broke up with us and left in a horrible way, a parent who walked out, a guardian, a caregiver who was never really able to give of themselves to us, was always absorbed in their own world. So just be very mindful of this. the energy we have to be mindful of if we don't have enough to watch out for during this time? What is the energy that Sagittarius needs to be mindful of during Mercury retrograde, May 29th to June 22nd, 2021? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. All right, awesome. And that is the Prince of Swords. It's wanting just to cut things down and charge forward and say, I've had enough, and now I'm going after where I want to be. And then we have here the chakra energy. Sagittarius, Mercury retrograde, May 29th to June 22nd, 2021. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. These two are inner child and rebirth. So our inner child is being reborn. We're being reborn from that child that we once were into the person that we are, but also from the pains of childhood into the power of the present. So we're going to start off with the chakra energy. We have the inner child, heart chakra, and we have the earth star chakra located 6 inches below our feet. We're being transformed. Who we once were does not define who we are now. And so that transformation is coming forward. That sense of connecting with our heart, with our soul, with what we love, with what we desire, really starts to make us and shape us and open up the doors and the avenues. And it brings us to the energy that we need to be mindful of. The Prince of Swords, it's like, okay, I'm seeing things, I'm being reborn, I'm connecting emotionally with what needs to be connected to. I'm going to want to just charge forward. I'm going to want to just go after it, think things through first. Because this is going to be a time where, especially since the swords represent the mind, they also represent communication in words, that we can just charge forward and say, who cares? Who cares of the consequences of what I say? I'm tired of holding my tongue. I'm tired of stepping back. Now is the time for me to move forward. Now is the time for me to go for it. And we might make some missteps along the way that we greatly regret. Okay? So with the Scorpio energy, the Death card, and the Page of Wands, there's a sense of transformation. But it's a transformation through words. It's a transformation through what we thought we wanted and what we actually want. It's a sense of learning who we are and where we want to be, but it's also deeply connecting with our childhood self. And there's some sort of trauma that we went through. There's some sort of hurt and pain and disappointment that even if it's just the passing of a beloved pet, where this is a time where we need to honor that. Because for some reason with this Mercury retrograde, it's the pain that's catching in our throat, that's stopping our words, that's stopping us from moving forward the way that we really want to. And it brings us to the Three of Cups and the Five of Pentacles. The Three of Cups, again, is that scar that's carried over. It's that idea of, I did something wrong. And sometimes we don't do anything wrong. And sometimes the person who has wronged us really hasn't done something wrong. It was time for an ending. And we went different ways. And that's going to be a very powerful thing here. Because it can, and it is going to be very well, that for a lot of this pain, the person wasn't able to love us the way our hearts needed to be loved, the way we needed to connect. And you know what? It's better to have somebody who we just can't connect with leave than to have them stick around and constantly make us feel inadequate, poor, hurt, as if we just have to do better in order for that door to open. It's closing that chapter now. And it's saying, you know what? I gave it my all. I really did. Even if we're going to sit there and say, I could have tried harder here and I could have done more there. No, I'm done. And with the pauper's mentality, with the Five of Pentacles, it's not being on the outside of wealth anymore. It's letting that door be open. It's letting our hearts be opened. It's letting us be able to move forward towards what we want and what we need and who we are. And standing on the outside of wealth, during this time of Mercury retrograde, if we embrace this emotion, if we embrace this feeling, it is going to make us feel as if we'll never be able to get there. As if it's always going to be a battle. It's always going to be a hurt. It's always going to be a pain. And we're never going to be able to get to where it is that we want to be. And that's what we're going to try and just say, screw it, I'm just charging forward. I'm just going after what I want, which can be the way that we deal with this energy. And we have to deal with this energy. But it would be a lot healthier for us to look at why that hurt, that dark feeling is there. Why is there a storm cloud around me? Why is it that I sabotage? What is it? What is the protective mechanism that I created when I was very small, that I am now incorporating into my adulthood, that is hindering me instead of helping me. Because no longer do we want to be on the outside of anything. We want to be in the middle of it all. We want to see and expand and explore and understand and move forward. And we want to really embrace our world and what we desire and where it is that we want to be. Our subconscious energy that we have to be mindful of is the chariot. It's letting our emotions charge us forward without thinking things through. It's being reactionary instead of a bit more contemplative. And that's going to be the main thing that we have to be worried about during this time. How reactionary are we going to be? The subconscious chakra message is peace, the crown chakra. Letting the crown of peace be settled upon our head. Letting us be blessed and letting that blessing move us forward. Joy and understanding. And knowing that during this time, even though we're crowned with hurts and pains, if we focus on peace and we focus on the peace that we want within our life, we start to manifest it, we start to build it, we start to transform towards it, and we start to learn from it. The subconscious rooted message is the High Priestess. This is a time to look beyond the veil. And the Death card very much does that for us. It changes the way that we see things. It changes what we desire. We look beyond the veil and we start to say, this is what I want. This is what I need. This is who I am. And we're calling out also the bullshit. Excuse my language, but we are. It's saying, I'm done with this. I'm not taking anybody's nonsense. I'm seeing beyond what they're trying to sell me. And I'm also seeing beyond the fact that I should be lacking. I should be wanting. And now I'm starting to see a blessing, even if that means that I start to see that I'm going to, kind of redo my whole entire life. That is something that I'm coming to the conclusion of. And it's through ancient wisdom that I'm guided. It's through the power of emotion that I'm led forward. But it's also through the fact that during this time, Sagittarius, we're just simply not dealing in lies and dealing in the peddlers of lies. It moves us to our subconscious crowning message, which is the Knight of Cups, water sign energy, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. This is the fact that I only rule me. Period. End of discussion. And I cannot rule, and I will not rule anybody else. But this also means, it doesn't mean that when we're treated poorly, we just say, oh, well, I can only control me. No, we have standards. We have standards, and we have a way that is acceptable and a way that isn't. We live by example, but we expect people to follow that example. And this is going to be a time where we're really seeing things more honestly, and we're being a lot more honest with ourselves. There's going to be a big transition that comes after this Mercury retrograde. Once we look at things and we say, okay, well, was I making too much out of this? Did I blow this up out of proportion? And then all of a sudden, after this Mercury retrograde, we start to see ourselves moving forward towards something more. And it's going to be very interesting because we have to be mindful of not only the Gemini time period, but also the Cancer time period, because we're still going to be a little bit ticked during this time. And we're going to think, just go for it. Just plow it all down and rebuild. And that's not going to be the way we really want to do it. So just be a little bit more mindful, a little bit calmer. Don't think I have to act instantaneously. And don't let past hurts dictate present day decisions. All right, Sagittarius, I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we focus ourselves through this Mercury retrograde. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Sagittarius.